hypothesis or not proving the hypothesis. Proving is also a correct one. Disproving or not going with the hypothesis is also correct. Okay, there is no right or wrong answers. You cannot judge the subject depending on proving or disproving with the hypothesis. Clear? First point. Second, I'll read out the hypothesis. It says binocular vision facilitates the accuracy of depth perception as compared to monocular vision. Okay. Now, when you conduct the experiment, first you will ask the subject. You will ask the subject to view from one eye. That is one subject's preferred eye, either right or left. All subjects will not be able to view it right. So, before you start the experiment, you will ask which eye the subject prefers. If he says left, then he has to close the right one and he will view in monocular approaching, reproaching. So, whenever you do, now in this record we have 40 trials, 10 each, okay? And whenever you start, either it is approaching or reproaching, you will ask, subject is ready, okay? Next, after conducting, you will note down all the readings, okay? Minus, plus, whatever, you will note down all the scores. And you will not do all 10 trials monocular approaching, all 10 trials reproaching. You will shuffle in order to avoid this habituation, okay?
With the same eye or?
Yes, same eye. So all 20 series monocular approaching, monocular reproaching, you will do it in a random order and you will take all 20 trials ka reading. Okay. Once it is done, now you will ask the subject to take out the hand and you will ask the subject to view the rod, the moving rod in both the eyes. Okay. That becomes binocular approaching, binocular reproaching. Now again you have 20 trials where you will do it in random order. Okay. After that you will add all the total. Now you forget the signs. Okay. Add all the total and see where the score is less. Whether the score is less, whether the mean value is less in binocular series or whether the score is less in monocular series. Now, to prove the hypothesis, okay, we should see that binocular scores, both approaching and reproaching scores should be less when compared to monocular approaching, reproaching. That's all. Okay, if the score is less reproaching, then you will interpret these values as the subject's results are proving the hypothesis and you will state the hypothesis. Okay, if the subject's score is less in monocular approaching, reproaching series, you will say the subject's results are not keeping with the hypothesis. Clear?
Yes.
Here is hypothesis, go get your eye test done. So you will not do all that. Okay? Because why we use these kind of tests or experiments in order to see whether the subject ultimately here, whether the subject is able to detect the stimulus. Okay, now we learn through different ways. We perceive things in different ways. How do we perceive things? Through our senses, right? How do we learn things? Through our senses and through our experiences. Now, how to consider whether the subject is capable, able to detect the stimulus, able to perceive the stimulus, able to learn the things. Only then we adapt, then we tend to organize them, and then we apply to our day-to-day life, or we teach. We learn and we teach, right? So the whole aim of this experiment is how towards him and how the subject is able to perceive things when it is moving away, reproaching series in both eyes, like one and monocular and binocular vision. Clear?
Should we consider signs or not?
Ma'am, you said forget the signs. That is the
now you don't
confusion.
forget the signs.
That for now you don't consider the
Like when
signs.
adding, when coming to the total.
Now when
what should
Mark
we do?
did you all get how to do the calculus sign? Then you will subtract minus. Then what? Where the plus sign or minus sign is more, that value you will consider. Got it?
But
See, adding to maths explanation, you need to stick to two level of interpretation. First level of interpretation, whatever the map says, like comparing the monocular and the binocular. The second level of interpretation, you can go according to the scores, the negative scores and the positive scores, where it is no overestimation or underestimation. Fine? Two level of interpretation.
And the deviations can be negative or positive, that does not matter.
And during your exam time, when you're giving the instruction in front of the externals, they might reduce the number of tries from 10 to 8 or from 10 to 5, 6, depending on whatever your external says, whatever number they say, you have to do that many trials. So if they say 6 fours are 24 trials. If they say 8, four series, 8 trials, then it will become 32. Okay. So this you have to keep in mind whenever for your exam point of view, any experiment, if they have externals, okay, you are supposed to conduct the experiment in front of the external. Okay, the instruction has to be given to the external. They will be there, they'll be standing, and in front of them you have to give the instruction to your subject. Without your externals, you will not conduct the experiment because they will be marking that also. Okay?
And the questions will be given on spot.
Yes, questions. You have to come prepared with all 7 experiments. Your seniors had to study 9 experiments in each practical. Psychophysics 9, thinking 9. Now we have reduced it. So you have on the whole 7 experiments. Be thorough with all 7 experiments. 10 monocular approaching 10. On 20 trials, the subject should view in left. Suppose if the subject's preferred eye is left. In between, you cannot change. The subject cannot change the position of their, preferred eye. Okay?
The subject will start, the subject will say stop.
That's
That is
all.
all is the time.
And whenever you're doing, now let's say the subject, you are moving, okay, under binocular, it is the approaching series, you are moving the rod towards your subject, the subject will say stop. Okay, you will note down the readings. Next will be reproaching. So what you have to do, from there you will not continue. Instead you will move forward, you will go towards the end. From there you will start the reproaching series. In between you will not start any